classified over 69. Offense. He was giving them the business. Go back there. Hold on.
This is the 5 Arms and a Lucky Finn podcast.
Welcome to the 5 Arms and Lucky Finn podcast. I am your host, Brendan McCormick, with my partner, aka Lucky Finn, Jason Ide. And Jason, we have a head coach in the building, head coach of Purdue Fort Wayne, Jon Coffman. Welcome in, John. We appreciate you.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate you having me. And it's cool. I'm gonna already call you out, man. It's cool that you're an IPFW grad, man. It's awesome.
Yes.
Love the follow and love being on your podcast.
Thank you so much, Coach. It means the world to us, especially joining us mid-season. For those of you that don't know, I am a graduate of Purdue Fort Wayne University, class of 2019, and it means the world to have the head basketball coach of the university on our podcast. So it means the world, John. Thank you so much.
No problem. Hey, and I'm going to review, since you already disclosed it off air, I'm going to call you out when we beat Indiana when they're ranked number 3 in the country, and on national TV on Big Ten Network, you fell down on air. I'm going to go back and find that clip, and I'm going to post it, okay? I expect a repost from you.
Yes, no, I will repost it. I will own up to that. It was one of the most embarrassing moments of my life, John, but, you know, as a man does, he owns up to what has happened, and he gets better. So, you know, that's what I do. That's what I do.
and I've never seen this either.
Hey, one of my biggest wins in school history here in league play, I called too many timeouts. I can't count. And we ended up winning triple overtime against Cleveland State and win the league that year. And don't lose a game in February. And that was one of them. So, like, we all make mistakes. It's all about how you grow from those mistakes.
Yes, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more with you, Coach. Well, Coach, let's go way back to the beginning. You started a finance job in San Fran. Like, how do we find our passion for coaching through that job?
Well, man, you're going way back now, and like, I don't feel old. And then, like, now as I'm talking to some of my parents and stuff, like, I'm older than they are, and so it's like, man, look in the mirror, like you're no spring chicken anymore. You know, as I look back on it, and this is the part, man, I still feel young. I still feel like I act young because I'm around college kids every day, and I love what I do. And if I can give a shout out to anybody, like what you want to figure out, what you want to do, find what you're passionate about, and what you want to do, like and then it all works out after that. And you know, I'm very few people I would recommend going from 6 digits to 4 digits with a career path. Okay. My dad did not understand that choice. All right. But it turned out like gold. My mom jumped for joy because I was influencing the world a little differently than when I was working in finance. But, you know, my path was, and I know you have a bunch of football followers. I went to one of the marquee athletic schools, high schools in the country, Marist High School or Marist School in Atlanta. You know, cool for football guys like Sean McVay, like one of my claims to fame, Hall of Fame. I'm right next to him. All right. In the Hall of Fame, in our high school. Now, the irony is he's about 10 years younger than me. All right. And he got into the Hall of Fame about 10 years earlier than me. So that just shows you how much better he was than me. You know, the other one, I told my guys this the other day, I said, Ghost played football with me and basketball in high school. They're like, Omari Hardwick? I was like, yeah, I show him on my phone. I was like, I got into last street cred right there. What? And, you know, I mean, we had like on my high school basketball team, I think there were 9 guys that went on to play college basketball. 2 guys went on to the NFL, and one played 16 years in the NBA. And that's my other claim to fame. Like he was our 3rd string point guard. And obviously turned out a little bit better than me as he progressed in that player of the year in Georgia. He was a sophomore when I was a senior, played at Georgia Tech. Then, you know, Matt Harpering, his daughter's one of the top, if not the top player in the country right now. But I had great high school coaches. Our football team did not lose a regular season game the 5 years that I went to Mayor School from 8th grade on. My basketball team, there were multiple state championships within there. Unfortunately, I did not win one my junior, senior year, but we went 26-2. My high school coach was phenomenal. I mean, probably my biggest mentor outside of my parents. And then my baseball team was ranked in USA Today top 25. So I had this great high school experience, and I go on to Washington and Lee, have a nice career there. But like, I kind of get shifted into finance. My sister is a professor at University of San Francisco. I go out for the summer and decide, hey, I'm gonna spend my graduation money, just enjoy out on the West Coast for summer, figure out what I want to do after playing college basketball, and not sure I'm going to live in San Francisco, just enjoy it. I run out of money, realized I got to go get a job. Next thing I know, I got the suit my dad bought me and said, all right, let's go start interviewing, and I get a job in finance. And I'm working out there for 2 years and loved West Coast. It was cool. But there's a lot of people out there maybe watching and say, you live for your weekends. We had a bunch of guys on our floor on the banking floor. Like, we all had investment. Like, we all had this ski house out in Tahoe. Winter lease. I skied 68 days. I never knew how to ski because I was a basketball player. Taught myself how to ski. Skied 68 days my last year. And but like, I didn't love my job. Now, hey, it was cool. Like, we were at the office. I mean, I lived on Broadway. I looked out one window at the Golden Gate Bridge, one window at the Bay Bridge. Had a rooftop. It was cool. But I went to work at 4:30 in the morning, working New York time, oftentimes off early, so we go up to the mountains, do that stuff. I mean, that was all awesome. But like, don't live for your weekends. Like, live for what you do every day. Find what you're passionate for. And I think that's why we've been so successful at Purdue Fort Wayne is, I found a position. I said, hey, I'm gonna treat this like the job I want to be in the rest of my life. I've now been here 15 years, and we've turned this place to gold. And it's been really cool. Well, backing up, I end up getting a Division III job at Emory, Virginia, out of this finance job. Well, our company got bought out. We were owned by the Prince of Liechtenstein, get bought out by Invesco in Texas. All right.
Okay.
There you are. Little Texas guy. And actually the president at the time was one of my high school teammates' dads. So like, this whole connection of worlds that bought us out. And so I got a great severance package, went to Alaska for 2 months with a guy who sat in the cubicle next to me. We brought our fly rods, mountain bikes, skis, and spent 2.5 months in Alaska, kind of going all the way up. And we go from like bar to bar on the way up to Alaska with no itinerary other than we were going to take we were going to go on a paddling thing on Glacier Bay. That was the only thing we had. So we go, what do you do? And we'd go into Fernie, British Columbia, like, oh, you got to fish the elk. And we'd stay there, fish the elk for 2 days, catch a bunch of trout, and we go the next time. They'd be like, oh, you got to go mountain biking on this trail. So we'd hang out there. It's amazing what who you can connect with. It was a cool way to travel. Did some really cool stuff there. So then I get this job. I connect. Like, I get a career change. Worked for a coach, Bob Johnson, and it changed my life. Other than my high school coach and my parents made impacted my life more than anybody else. Like, his dad was chief of staff for the Army during Vietnam. Had a picture of his dad, General Johnson, on the cover of Time magazine in his office. Small Division III school in Southwest Virginia. They played in the league that I played in at Washington Lee. And so I was his only assistant. I was only allowed to coach with him for 2 years, and he kicked me out the door. He said, my vision is, hey, I'm going to teach you how to network in coaching. I'm going to give you all the tools. We're going to coach, but then I'm going to kick you out the door. Go make your own way. Well, while I'm there, I mean, it was like a PhD in leadership. He was an Army Ranger, went to West Point. There was a network of coaches that went through there. There were 5 of us in like a 12-year span that all became Division I head coaches. Mike Young, who's currently the head coach at Virginia Tech. This is a small school, Emory and Henry College in Virginia, Southwest Virginia. Then you had Jimmy Allen, who went on to be the head coach at Army West Point. You had Jamie and Christian, who went on to become, he's currently, he's at, I'm going blank. He was at GW. He was at the Mount, went overseas, and he's currently in the NEC. I'm going blank. I'm going blank on where he is now. And then who else? Nathan Davis, who's currently head coach at Bucknell, who now is the head coach at New Hampshire. and then myself. And so like, it's cool, this network, and those guys, that's who I network. I got shipped out on the weekends, hey, go hang out with Jimmy, his assistant Navy. All right, he's going to teach you about some recruiting and stuff like that. And I go hang out, sleep on his couch, and then I go to the next. And this network taught me how to coach. Then I got a job at College of Charleston, my first Division I coaching job. And that was working for John Kress. He won the league championship, TAC or Southern Conference, every year he coached Division I. Wow. Never didn't win the regular season. It was amazing.
Wow.
And had a great experience there. He was Mr. Detail. Then I go work for a friend of mine who had a similar path, went to my high school, is currently the athletic director at Marist School now, but he was the youngest head coach in the country at Stetson. And he had left a law practice to go into that. So I worked for him and then go up to Colgate after that. Did that for 8 years. Met my wife down at Stetson. She's a college coach for the last 20 years. Then went to Colgate, and then we got let go of Colgate. And the gentleman I worked for at Colgate, Emmett Davis, was phenomenal coach. Phenomenal coach. Unfortunately, I had a couple injuries. We got let go. And then I got a yellow pad. I'm writing down all the names I know in college sports. Like, hey, how do I stay in this thing? We had a 2-year-old. My wife's pregnant. She's coaching at Hamilton College. We're like, man, we're going to have to move, and this is where like life is crazy. So, I had a job offer to go work for Zach Spiker at Army West Point, but it was like nickels at my age and with 2 kids. My wife was pregnant with Lucy, our daughter. Tommy's 2. She would have had to leave Hamilton. Like, it was going to be hard to live in West Point. And this is Chris Holtman, gives me the lifeline. And Chris was an assistant at Gardner Webb when I was at Stetson. We became friends. I can't remember whether it was at Ohio or Butler at the time. But he says, hey, I know this guy, Tony Jasic, just got the job at IPFW. Dane Fife had just left to go to Michigan State. And he says, hey, I think with your Florida ties, unique recruiting base, like, I think I can connect you. And I'm like, dude, nobody's going to get a job like that. I'm staying in the general suite in the Thayer Hotel in West Point. Just interviewed, got offered the job. We know we can't afford to take it with our family. And Tony like interviews me, and he's like, hey man, I'm really interested. And I said, well, dude, hey, how interested? Because I got to figure this out really quickly. And I literally, as I go out to meet him, I interview at Covington Catholic High School in Kentucky on my way out there. Like, I'm scrambling trying to make college coaching stay. I do not want to go back to finance, and he offers me a job. It was incredible. Like, that never happens. And then we get really good. We brought a bunch of Florida guys that I was tied to, had some really good Midwestern guys, but like, we had like 4 first team, all league guys from Florida that I had known during my time in Florida. Bring them. We win games. 3 years after being let go, I'm a Division I head coach, one of 364. Like, that is amazing. And, I've just had this path of like, hey, make this job the one you're going to be in the rest of your life, and it'll turn out like gold. And I treated that like day one when I was assistant coach. And I was 40 years old as assistant coach at IPFW, probably not your dream situation at age 40, but man, I was coaching. I had a lifeline. I'm doing what I love. My wife's family's an hour away in Lima, Ohio. She gets offered a job starting an NAI program. I'm like, this is gold. And we recruit really well, win 25 games my 3rd year here. And I get offered the job. And I've treated it that same way. And the job from when I got here to where it is now, like, we're sustainable in the NIL world because of the relationships I've built and because of the success we've had. We're the winningest mid-major in the state of Indiana over the last decade. And we've built freakish stats. You're going to talk a little offense. Like, we're over the last 10 years, number 2 in 3-point field goals made, number 7 in 3-point field goal percentage, top 20, number 14 in scoring over the last decade, and top 25 in every 2-point field goal percentage. So like, that's happened by like, I stylistically found playing fast, shooting the threes, pace and space. And it's just worked out like gold. And like, I got guys like you who went to school at IPFW now who are still big fans. Beat Notre Dame like a month ago. 3 weeks ago. And so it's cool, man. I've loved it here. Fort Wayne's a great city. Great town. I've been very, very blessed in Fort Wayne. All right, man. I've been talking a bunch. Give me some questions.
Yes, coach. No, I mean, what a journey, coach. What a journey through all those different, and then the lifeline. Like, Shoot, I mean, to have that belief in yourself and especially like, keeping the faith and just staying positive, that's absolutely incredible, coach. Absolutely incredible.
Well, the world is about relationships, and I think I
Mhm,
mentioned it earlier, just kind of briefed out. Like I'm a yellow pad guy, and my money and
mhm,
banking professor, Dr. Art Goldsmith, who was a huge basketball fan, came to all my games. I took his money and banking class, and that was a bear. I stayed like 36 hours, not in a row, but for his final. And
yeah,
I think I still got in the B range. But like his quote was always like, "Hey, if you don't understand it, grab a yellow pad, work it out." Write it down, work it out. I still use that with my players. Like write it down, work it out. And
mhm,
I was trying to work out how I stay in college basketball. When I was on my way recruiting a kid in Philadelphia from
mhm,
Colgate, and I get a call from my head coach. Hey, we've been let go. My wife is with
mm,
her college softball team.
mhm,
We're in New York. She's down in Florida, and it's like minutes before the first pitch of their summer trip. And I got to call her, and I have to call her now because our other
yeah,
assistant coach, his wife was her trainer, so like she's gonna find out. So I gotta
yeah,
call her, and she's got my son is 2 years old, like sitting in the dugout with a helmet on, like, and be like, hey
yeah,
man, our life in Hamilton, New York is unfortunately probably over. We got to figure this thing out. I grab a yellow pad,
yeah,
and I write down everybody I know in college basketball, and I'm just
yeah,
relentless. Like calling, following up, hey, how can and Ryan, it just
yeah.
takes time, and like, man, people came through. Some really, really strong relationships helped me through that. So that's cool.
Man, that's something we often talk about a lot, like, especially it's just the connections, people have and keeping those connections alive, and, that's something we talked about in another interview, coach, that we had it with another, Dallas Fort Worth football coach is his connections in the recruiting trail as well, so it's all about who you know, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I gotta say,
Yeah, it
viewers
does
and
it. And
listeners.
things give back to you as you go through. As long as just do it the right way,
Yep.
and that's where like it's really critical right now because the world is very transactional around college
Yeah.
sports right now. And my belief is that if you can still be relationship based, understand, appreciate the transactional world, but still be relationship based, and do things the right way, I think it's still going to play out for you. There
Yeah.
may be some short-term losses in certain areas.
Mhm.
May take a little bit more time, but it's going to pay out for you over a long time. And we're going to figure this new world of college sports out, and do it the right way. Because our goal is not only just to win games, but like to do it and raise young men and women.
Yeah.
And do it through the platform of college sports and teach them, incredible lessons. And that's where, I took this from my job at Emory and Henry College. Bob
Mhm.
Johnson was amazing. A lot of these kids at that time were coming from Southwest Virginia and the coal mining district, an area like that,
Yeah.
first generation college kids. And so he was kind of teaching them like a Renaissance man. Like he grew up in the biggest, the Army house in
Wow.
DC,
Mhm.
because his dad was chief of staff for the Army. And so just had all these things. I mean, he had a chauffeur take him to school every day, kind of thing. And so we were doing things like dining etiquette and networking class, things like that back in 1998 when I was in Emory, Virginia. And I have taken
Wow.
that and paid it forward here. And so our life skills
Mhm.
programming, we do 3 golf lessons with our guys in summer,
I love
dining
it.
etiquette, ballroom dancing, do a fishing clinic, go out and fishing trip challenge, networking class. Every player has a community mentor,
Mhm.
to where,
Wow.
and this is cool. So when the rules changed, the
Yeah.
NIL rules changed. Like for a lot of
Mhm.
people, they were like, "Oh man, this." I was like, "This is gold, man!" Like
Yeah.
school is about building relationships. Our players could not go out to breakfast, lunch, or dinner with one of our season ticket holders and talk to them about life after basketball. And
Wow.
like I'm in Fort Wayne, and we're about 400,000 people. I'm 1 to 2 people
Yeah.
removed from everybody in the city. Like I can help jumpstart careers, but I
Yeah.
couldn't. I got the suit guy that takes care, gives all my
I
staff
was gonna
custom
mention that.
suits. He's
Really big fan of that,
awesome,
coach.
man.
Yeah.
Oh, Chris Lambert, like he's on my Twitter feed, community mentor. He's awesome. Just takes care of us. Like, oh, well, I approached him about 5, 6 years ago. Said, hey, would you do a graduation suit for our players? And
Uh-huh.
he's like, yeah, I'd love to. Because I told him, man, when I graduated college, my dad gave me a suit and $500. Says, "Hey, go make life, and figure it out." Well, I couldn't do a graduation suit, interview suit for my players because there was no way in the rules. And it just didn't make sense, and I couldn't work it out for like within a gift and stuff like that with the rules. So when NIL happened, we get all of our guys these custom suits, man. They open them, got their name in them. They get to walk across the stage for graduation. They got an interview suit. They're going to the first weddings. They look, and they're custom, It's like my 6'11" dudes, like they look good. The problem is now they got a custom suit. They never want to go back. That's an expensive habit to get into. So going backwards, the community mentor piece. So every one of my players has a mentor, and they're a man or woman in the community, business man or woman that commits to one meal a month. And in that meal, they bring another person from the community. So the goal is that through the course of a year, every one of my players is going to get, 9 to 12 connected people. And then I have a gentleman comes in, teaches my guys networking skills, gets them all on what's the I'm going blank on
LinkedIn, I think.
LinkedIn, teaches them that. They get their LinkedIn stuff. They start networking, how to do that. Well, then what's happened is that's grown over 3 years to where I have an army of community mentors. Now they have a team. So each player gets 4 to 5 mentors, and they're going out to eat, and they're meeting these people. And so what's happening is it's shrinking the margins to keep a player here. Like CJ Hadnot. I mean, he's arguably player of the year if we stopped right now in our league or in the argument. Like he's a third-year guy, and playing phenomenally well. But like the margins have been shrunk because like our city's embraced him. He knows that like when his pro basketball career is over in 10 years, he's going to be able to come back to Fort Wayne. He's going to be able to skip the first job for the second one. Skip the job where he's serving coffee to get the job where he's receiving coffee in the meeting. And that's so impactful. That's what college is really about, networking. And hey, we're paying our dudes too. Like he's going to get a nice check. But that's also like what's more than that? Like you start doing the math on like 50 grand. All right, take taxes out 40% of that. And now you're talking about, I mean, you start doing the math of that and you pay your agent and all stuff. It's not like you're saying, okay, 18 grand. Like what's that going to be difference over the next 50 years? Maybe it's 200 grand. Like even if you do that math, it still doesn't make that much sense. It's all about like, how do you set yourself up for life and the relationships to be able to, get your career started in the post basketball thing. But our guys, they all have, they're all investing their NIL and all that stuff. So like things are cool, man. I'm really connected here. I love Fort Wayne. When you come back up here, we got homecoming January 31st. Brandon, let's get your butt up here.
I know. I gotta convince the wife. Yeah. No, I wanna be there. Like even listening to the Notre Dame game with my wife, we actually went to the college. My wife's an Aggie, so she went to Texas A&M. So we went to the Texas A&M and Miami game. We were driving back. I said, "Oh, the boys are playing. I'll put them on real quick if you don't mind." She's like, "Yeah, that's fine." She was falling asleep, and I was listening to it. And I was like this in my car. I was like, "Oh, this game's getting good." I was like, "We got a lead. Just hold it." And I was just so happy. I had to pull over and text you real quick. So
that was much like the game you went to in Indiana, the one at home, the one at home where we beat them when they were ranked number 3, where we didn't just shoot off the charts. We just played an aggressive brand of basketball and like spaced them out and created some matchup things because we play a little bit smaller, more skilled. It was not like, so the next year you didn't go to the Indiana game at Indiana where we beat them 92-72.
I didn't. I really wanted to, but I didn't go.
So yeah, hey, my wife went to that one. Honestly, she went to support me. She loves telling the story. She's like, and my son, my son got in trouble at school, almost didn't get to go. And I can't remember. He was like 9 or 10 or something like that. He almost didn't get to go. Got in trouble in school that day. And she's like, "Hey, only reason like you got in trouble at school, only reason you're going to this game, we're supporting Dad. He's going to get smoked like a salmon. Like they're not surprised, and they're going to get beat by 75. We got to give Dad a big hug." And so we go to that game, and I don't know, we're up 2, down 2 at halftime.
Yeah.
And we're playing Archie, who's a really good coach. We'd played those guys when they were at Dayton. Actually lost at the buzzer. We were up 5 with 30 seconds left when they were an Elite 8 team. Mike Kibolowski, who's my broadcaster now, he didn't come back to the ball on a baseline out of bounds.
I know Mike.
I know. I still call him out on the air once a year. And they beat us at the buzzer. But anyway, going back to that game.
Yeah.
So she goes to halftime, and they're at Assembly Hall and they're walking out, and she sees the staff go back, and there's still like angst coming out of halftime. That's where you got it right. She turns to Tommy at the time and says, "Hey, Dad's gonna win this game." And sure enough, we end up hitting 17 threes, 92-72. That was an incredible game.
Incredible. Talk a little bit about playing in Assembly Hall, the history of it. I mean, there's got to be some type of feeling walking into that, walking into the arena.
Yeah, and listen, I've probably gained more respect for it now that I've been in the state for 15 years. I grew up in Atlanta. I've coached all over the place. Indiana's really a special place to coach rally basketball. Like, people love their basketball. I don't know if I necessarily knew what I was getting into. I grew up in Georgia. It was football country. We had good basketball, but like, it was football country. I coached in Florida for 8 years, football country. You get to Indiana and you hear about it, and you go to some of these gyms. You go to Newcastle, we recruited a kid from Newcastle, 12,000 seats. You go to Knightsville, or and see the where the Hoosiers, the movie. It's just cool stuff. And you hear them talk about class basketball and all that stuff, but you don't really appreciate it. And then you go play them. That was my second time playing there. We had played there in 2016 when we had the Summit League championship team with Max Landis. And that would have been when you were there too. And Yogi dropped, I don't know, like 150 on us that night. He was so good. God, and we had a really good team. May even have been a better team than that team that went down there to win, but it was awesome. It was awesome. So I auctioned everything off. Everything. I mean, I had like 25 people sitting on my bench at the Notre Dame game that are wearing polos like they're coaches, like honorary coaches, kids, ball boys, like that's how we make this world work. That's how our program is raised. Like, money pays. Like, you gotta do it. Now with NIL, it's great. So like, I had 3 guys that sat on the bench of both Indiana wins. It was easier to convince the second one, but these 3 guys, like they were on the first game in Fort Wayne. They're wearing their suits and sitting on the bench, and Indiana's got 75 managers, coaches, cones, and these guys. One guy's like, he calls himself a farmer. All right, but he, he owns a heating and air company, and he does very well. Got another guy's a financial planner, and another guy was Doug Knoll, who coached here, who's now in real estate. Before was the first Division I coach. So these guys are all sitting on the baseline, and they're joking. Like, that was a great experience for those guys. First one. So they all do it the second time around. And so I walk out, and I won't name, it's 33% chance. And I walk out with my coaching staff. One of them's got his cell phone up in the air, and he's kind of videotaping the experience. I look behind the cell phone. I said, "Hey, that better not be pointed towards those cheerleaders. You're dressed up like a suit. You're going to get me fired." And he laughs. I go, "Oh, sorry, coach. Sorry, coach." And we go out there. I'm like, "Man, this is a lot of pressure. Like, we're going to get smoked by 75. You have that feeling a lot. It's like, you go out, and we've been really good since I've been here, but there's a difference in some body types, and it can get away from you, like rebounding, smashing the glass. And those are good coaches. I mean, both Archie and Tom Green, really good coaches. And so, but that night, man, the ball went in. It was a good night in Bloomington.
Yeah. No, it definitely was. Talk about what you look for in recruits, Coach, a little bit. Is there certain traits that you look for in recruits? We even had one of your recruits on our show. I don't know if you know that, but Justin Curry II, he committed to Valparaiso, but he came on our podcast several months ago. But me and Jason definitely had the question of, what do you look for in certain traits in a recruit, whether it's high school, and then do you also look at the portal more than high school? I'm just it's both are there. I mean,
I kind of call it the Kent State style of recruiting. I'll give a shout out to those guys who've been elite in the MAC, and may not have the best setup like as you go through, but have just had really good coaches. And now it's been Rob Senderoff for a long time. And they've always recruited, whatever it takes, transfers, junior college, freshmen. That's kind of been ours. Like, hey, let's go find a good player. I don't know what it's all going to look like, but good player. The nice part is we got a Purdue degree. When you were here, we had an IU and a Purdue degree, like 2 powerful degrees. All right. And, we're in a great city. So you got a great city to sail. We got a Coliseum where the Detroit Pistons started there in Fort Wayne. They played 2 NBA Finals, NBA All-Star game, got great tradition. So like, we got this great framework to recruit kids. And what was ironic is, like, when I first got here, we had more success when there was no preconceptions, misconceptions, meaning, we were a transition school coming out of Division II, the GLIAC, all that kind of stuff, into, Division I. And we were kind of building, and Dana did a nice job, and Tony did a nice job before that, kind of building to a certain level, but we still could go. And that's where, we had an Allegiant air flight to Florida, which is $60 a direction straight to Sanford, Florida. And we had a pipeline coming out of Florida. And these kids would go out here and be like, man, this is awesome. Like the MAC, the Summit, the Horizon, and the Missouri Valley. Like, those are great mid-major leagues. Like, the best mid-major basketball in the country is probably played here in the Midwest. And they come up and see all this stuff. And we did really, really well with that. So, like, I was looking for what could draw people when you don't necessarily have the name recognition, and like, I'm not a sexy guy, like, so I got to figure out a sexy style. All right. And so that's where I thought, all right, so like, you're building something new, create a style that people want to come watch and people want to play in. And like, nobody wants to go watch, like, you ever been to a chess match?
No, but I've seen some TikTok clips of a famous chess person. I forget his name.
But there like probably wasn't a sellout, right?
No, there was not many people there.
No, and you go around college basketball these days, and if you get caught watching the wrong game, you're going to watch 75 dribbles in a possession. And so, and we're in Indiana, man. People appreciate ball movement, player movement, spacing, and like, man, scoring the basketball. Like, that makes it fun and like enjoyable to come out. And so, and listen, I've never seen a game where the winning team didn't score more points than the losing team. And so that's our goal. Let's score more points. And so we create a style, like, let's shoot the three too. And, if you're not intentional about how you operate, I don't care what job you're in, you're not going to be consistently successful. You better be intentional, and then be able to reflect and adjust and all that stuff. And early on, a lot of my stuff came from, I scouted Belmont when I was in Stetson. And I was one of my friends. Rick Bird, phenomenal coach.
Yes.
He doesn't know that I've tried to emulate a bunch of stuff that he's done over time, and like pace and space and stuff. And so we early on, like, I took on a lot of that stuff. And so I will never recruit a player that can't shoot the basketball, other than a 5-man. We're going to play 4 perimeter guys that can all really, really shoot it. If I'm going to make a mistake, he's going to be able to shoot the basketball. And then I try never to have a guy on the floor where more than one guy on the floor that can't, that not only shoots it, but can't deck it. So we got to have 3 to 4 guys that can shoot it and deck it. Okay. Gotcha. So we may take a little bit smaller size to get guys who can shoot it and drive it. And we may take a guy that, maybe, statistically a transfer that's like a low 30s shooter, but can drive it as well. And then we feel like we can raise his level of shooting because of the quality of shot. So over the last, I think it's 14 years now, we started statting. This is my second year as an assistant coach, paint touch shots. Got this from Doc Rivers when we used to go to his practices with the Orlando Magic when I was at Stetson. Like, that was when it was starting to come in vogue in the NBA back in the early 2000s. And like, we've shot 62% over the last 14 years when we touch the paint before we shoot it, and 37 when we don't. And so, how we play is either throw it to the post inside out or drive it, kick it. And so we're looking to play fast. But like, we're also looking for like, how do we get to the paint as quick? We call it getting the green light. Once we get the green light, now you're letting it fly. And then I don't have to coach. Like, I don't coach shot selection because like I coach process. Like, I'll go back and watch a year that we touch the paint before we shoot it. And I may pick out, this is, 32, 33, 34, 35 games that we play that year. And we may only have a dozen bad shots. You'd be like, ooh, that's gross. Whereas you'll see that in any game that didn't touch the paint.
Right.
Now, we still get some? Like, my goal is 80% paint touch shots. If we're playing on the road, playing a Power 4 team, 90%, because that's where we're more efficient with those. Yeah. And that's our goal. And we got to have a little green light. Like, hey, man, Brandon, you hit 4 threes in a row. You got the green light. I got to give you space for a heat check, man. You're feeling it. Right.
I love that, Coach. I love that. Yeah.
So what's happened is, now I don't have mom and dad sitting up in the stands cross-eyed as I say bad shot. I'm just talking process. Hey, let's get to the paint, green light, be more attacking. And I coach every timeout when I get a war sheet at the end of the timeout. Or the beginning of the timeout, I go in there and it's like, okay, we're 6 of 7 paint touch shots. And let's say we won that war 12-6. I tell the guys, hey man, you're attacking the paint. Great job. Like keep being in attack mode. Or we may be down and we took 6 of 7. I say, hey, trust the process. Numbers are going to play out. Keep attacking. Or we maybe have 2 of our 7 shots in that war, that 4-minute war. All right, between media timeouts is a paint touch. And I tell our guys, we're down, 12-4. I say, hey guys, man, we're settling. We're not getting to the paint. Or we may be up and we were 2 of our 6. I say, hey guys, man, that's fool's gold. Numbers are going to play out. Like get to the paint. We made our run. That's not doesn't make analytical sense. I probably don't say that in the timeout. They'd be like, Coach, come on, you're being a nerd. But like, you're gonna dive into it. And our guys kind of understand that. Touch it, coach it all through the process. It's been really good. It is really hard though. We had 10 newcomers this year. For the first time, we've been the kings of retention, of retaining really good players. I mean, Contra's in the NBA. Max Landis was a player that your guys that had grad transfer eligible. We even back with Rashid and Q that could have transferred with NIL to get probably more stayed. And we unfortunately lost a couple guys this last year, which I got some pride in because they did very well in their growth there, but also disappointing for our organization, our work. But it's harder, man. We had 10 newcomers. And so I had to really rethink this summer, not how we're going to play. I believe in that, but more about my teaching methods.
Gotcha.
And how you're going to teach. Because like coaches are teachers. You got to teach it. Yeah. And we're blessed with the summer to where we spread our 6 weeks over 8 weeks. In the summer for our kind of training camp we get with that summer access. And so we really dive into our teaching, probably do a little bit more live than I did in the past. We do a lot of video work in the summer. I've created a power words glossary. It's about an hour and a half, has all my power words. You learn my language before you get here. As soon as you commit to us, I send you this private YouTube link, has video clips. So now you understand all my jargons. So like so much of the world's about communication. Really cool. And so just trying to figure out new ways that we can get our kids acclimated to play at a high level quicker. And I think we saw that this year. I think we've won 9 of 12 now and playing a lot of basketball, scheduled too heavy early for the money games this year. Man, I don't like that. Remind me of some of those days when we were at Stetson just trying to make our budgets. I hope we don't have to keep doing that. But our guys loved it. Although, man, it's hard to go on the road. We were on the road 15 to 25 days.
Wow.
2 times the West Coast in that time, or far West. That's brutal. You can see the bags under my eyes. This is our bye week.
Getting some rest, huh, Coach? Getting some rest.
No, not now, man. I got a 17 and a 14-year-old that do everything, every sport. And so it's my catch-up time there. And I had quite a list that Tracy, my wife, had for me for a couple days during this week. So I got to escape with this podcast. So thanks, guys. Couple of hoops.
Hey, Coach, quick question. You were talking about the travel a little bit, and that wants to bring me back. You guys moved from the Summit to the Horizon. Tell me about how that travel impacts your play style with the running up and down the court. You used to have to travel far distances, I'm sure, with the connecting flights. I read somewhere you always talked about O'Hare, sitting in the O'Hare airport. Oh, and you don't have to do that as much anymore. So could you tell us about how that kind of impacts the way you guys play now and how it could, you could see it on the court in a way?
So I will not talk bad about O'Hare. The travel gods will get me. Okay. No way. Brett Rump, my radio guy, like he's the grumpiest dude ever. Like, we had one trip and Concho was on this team and they had a blizzard out in North Dakota. Okay. Oh, no. So we go to, we bus to Chicago, skip our Fort Wayne to Chicago, bus there, and flight gets canceled. All right. And we're like, man, so we're going to have to get there the day of the game. Man. And so we rebook and we have to rebook to Minneapolis and then get to North Dakota, which is like another 4-hour drive. And we're like, oh man, it's crazy. And there's no real rules because the rest of the league at this time is all on I-28. They don't care about us, And we're like, shoot, we're out of luck. So we're going to North Dakota like day of game. And so we're going, like, I'm on the cell phone, we're busting there. It's just coming down on us. It's brutal. And finally, it's about 3 hours before the game. We're going to get there, literally roll up in the bus at tip time. And the league finally makes the safe decision, says, okay, we'll postpone it. So we go straight to the gym. We practice, go there, play the next day. So they rebook it. So we're playing back to back. Okay. Now, luckily, the league did it with the other teams that were playing at North Dakota State. So we're going North Dakota State back to back days. Okay. And with our style, man, that's a bear. And I played a little bit of a short Ross that year, both figuratively and literally. Like, and so that group, Contra was on a team. He hits he played, I think, 40 minutes at North Dakota in the wind. We get on the bus, prep, and again, still blizzard. We get to North Dakota State, and he plays 44 in that game. Plays like 88 minutes. And it's the last, like, we go to overtime. North Dakota State is a hard place to win, man.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they are good. I mean, one year they had to pull the fire alarm on us, like, because we were in a run late game to make.
I remember that.
Right? Hey, they're crazy. They love it, man.
Yeah.
They love their sports out there. So anyway, we come to that timeout, and I look at John, and he had beat Omaha the year before on just low flat, and he pulls up for a three. And then we had beat Eastern Michigan the year before, running one of those kind of ghost screens with our flat, throws it back, and the 4-man hits it off that. And I turned to John and I said, hey, Eastern Michigan or Omaha? And he goes, Coach, he goes, I'm too tired for Eastern Michigan. Give me Omaha. So we go flat. He's eyeballing him. He's not going to drive. He's got no plan of driving whatsoever. He just lets it fly. Boom, money. We walk out of there, 2 wins back to back, blizzard. So then we jump in the bus and we're hightailing it. Okay. No, I'm sorry. We got to spend the night there first thing in the morning. Like, we're up at like 4 to get to the Omaha airport. And our flight gets canceled out of Omaha.
Oh no.
And let's see. No. Out of North Dakota State. So in Fargo. Gets canceled out of Fargo. So we're right there. All right. Yeah. And our bus had already left. And we're dialing up the bus like, come on back, man. We got to get to Minneapolis because it's New Year's Day or New Year's Eve.
Oh,
right.
No.
And so bus comes back, but it takes 2 hours. We get the bus. We refuel. We're bolting to Minnesota, and we're barely going to make our flight. So we get in there, and we're rolling through security. All right. And we had to make a decision. Like, we had only like 4 guys that couldn't get on that next flight. So it's, I go with the players. I'm like, all right, I'm going to be the guy responsible for all the players, figure all this stuff out. So we get to the, is it called tarmac? Is that right?
Yeah.
Like So go on. Yeah. They've already pulled away.
Oh,
we get up on the chairs and said, boys, let's rally them. We're waving our arms.
Oh.
It's New Year's
like
Eve.
the plane was already taxiing before you guys could get on?
Off. The plane comes back. They come back. They open up. It's probably broken all sorts of, flight rules. Also. Right. The pilot comes out and is like, dude, we're a Fort Wayne-based crew. We got you, coach. And we
there we go.
On the flight and get home. Yeah. And then a few guys didn't, and they took it for the team. Like, it was strong, but I got the players back. The other guys got back next day. I mean, it was incredible. So then another year we play, and there's another blizzard in Omaha. And we get there, and this is my Brett Rump, who's our radio guy. He's crazy, so grumpy. I used to take his phone when we get delayed on airports. I had to check in your phone because they negatively tweet at the airlines. I'm like, man, you're gonna get us on some list, dude. Relax. All right. So our flight gets canceled first thing in the morning. And what are we gonna do? He sees a flight to Louisville, and it's a ferry flight. And I'm like, what's a ferry flight? Like, whatever, mine's been going every which way. And so they tell us, we're trying to get a plane to Louisville, and there's nobody's going to be, it's just going to be, cargo, and then they're going to fly from Louisville. And our radio guy and I convince the ferry flight. They find a crew, and us and it was our team and some random dude who got canceled out. We jump on this ferry flight. We fly to Louisville, and my assistants parents live in Louisville, meet us with like
Okay.
subways, and we got a bus and we get home. Like
That's
it was
awesome.
crazy trips. And so, I was
Wow.
I was probably like, I probably was not going to continue a successful marriage with 1-day trips to Denver, 1-day trips to Oral Roberts, blizzards. I got kids I want to watch occasionally play sports. So
Yeah.
we get in the Horizon League. Horizon League's been gold. But listen, Summit League, man, I respect the basketball. Those schools are serious about their sports, fan bases, great
Yeah.
basketball. There were great basketball coaches
Mhm.
while I was out there, big time basketball. And man, hard places to win. I remember every time we had success out there, like those are feathers in my cap. Great
Yeah.
basketball. Summer League and really good, just motion offenses, man-to-man, pack line defense. We played a little bit different than some of the other guys, but like still our man-to-man, playing fast, stuff like that. But I do think, Jason, to make a long story short, it has helped us because these short bus rides, playing fast. I think our legs are with us. The other thing is like we won the Summit League in 2016, and we're the number 1 seed. South Dakota was the number 8 seed.
Oh,
All right.
yeah.
We play, in the arena in Sioux Falls, and they had, 8,000 people there,
Yeah.
and we had, 50, people, and here it is a 1-8 game. Like, and there ain't that much difference between, those kind of things. It's hard. They're all bussing there. We had to fly out 2 days before, not knowing if we were going to be a 1 or 2 seed or a 5 seed, because there were different
Yeah.
days. So it was brutal. Horizon League's really
Wow.
good though, man. There's multiple
Yeah.
years we've gone into the last weekend. We could be 1st or 5th.
Wow.
Last year, could have been 1st or 5th. Last weekend we ended up
Yeah.
5th. My best player didn't play that last week. Not my best player, but a really good player, leading scorer in our league, didn't play it last weekend. Nationally televised game. Was still kind of a little dinged up, and so we lose game, and that didn't help us, But then, 2 years before that, we won the league. We go in, could be fish 1st or 5th. Scores are coming in as we're on the bus. And we're at Detroit, win the game. We just beat Oakland, and 2 days before we're driving past Oakland and they win. Boom, we win the league. It was awesome. We thought about going to the game to watch, cheer them on at the end of the thing. So it's wild, man. Really
That's
good
awesome.
coaches in the Horizon League.
Yes. Coach, talk about finding Jon Conchar. I've always been intrigued by how he is limited with offers, and he winds up in your hands. Talk a little bit about that and how you found him and the evolution of Jon Conchar.
So, John's, it's a wild story, and there's a lot of them out there, more than you can imagine. Guys that just develop within systems and grow into their body, like kind of figure it all out. Well, Jon was actually the leading scorer in Illinois that year. Now the West Chicago, not in the City League, not in the Catholic League, but West Chicago. Played for a really good high school coach, but was 6'4", about 162, really thin. And his dad and his brother sent out a bunch of emails about him, but looked like a lot of skilled, skinny guys that end up having great, probably D3 careers, things like that. Like that's where he had gone to visit on stuff.
Yeah.
And one of my best friends, Rod Balanis, had been a longtime assistant at Notre Dame. We were connected through our Colgate days. He had been assistant before me at Colgate. And we're just good friends. And I just gotten the job that spring. And he said, "Hey, Jon, I got a kid I've been following. I've been going up No Logo, up in Chicago, watching him play. He reminds me of Matt Connaughton." They had a challenging year that year. Jerry Grant had gotten ineligible, and they weren't, great that year. He said, "Hey, probably not the year that Notre Dame takes a no-star recruit in this year." And whether they would have pulled the trigger or not, I don't ultimately know. But he really liked him, and Rod's a great evaluator. And I trust him. So their season had all been over, so I couldn't go see him live. I watched some video. It was hard to tell with like who they're playing against. I go up to watch him in a workout and a pickup game. Again, hard to tell. Looked really good, and he's a player that just like he just could really pass it. Was a little bit passive, kind of with usage rate and stuff like that. Like not always aggressive. Would almost, elite hockey assist guy. And playing, you couldn't really tell. 6'4", 162.
Mhm.
And I laugh with John. He's getting in the Hall of Fame January 31st this year. It's awesome. We got
Hey,
his jersey being
yeah,
retired this summer. Like
that's awesome.
really cool things are kind of happening around him. Like it's awesome. All right. So he comes on his visit. I
Uh-huh.
still remember this. We're at Quaker State, right across from the mall. We're eating wings, and
yeah.
he's not, and we're watching like Sweet 16 or something like that on TVs,
Yeah.
and he's not eating any wings. And I just go
Huh.
to his dad, Jim, and who's become really good friends. Like, hey, what's up? Well, he's got some digestive, doesn't eat on game days, like struggling to carry
Hmm.
weight and stuff like that. Doesn't,
Yeah.
hasn't really figured this thing out. And he's like, he doesn't eat on game days. Yeah, he just whatever it takes. I can't imagine.
Hmm.
Like, I
Yeah.
don't,
Yeah, no.
I don't skip many meals, and like I'm like, shoot, and I tell my staff, like, God, like if he's 164 as a senior, like probably not
Yeah.
be real successful. Well, digest it, watch some more film. He's awesome kid, awesome dad. I'm like, score a lot of points. Again, I'm not gonna make a mistake because he does shoot it, pass it.
Yeah.
And we take him.
Mhm.
We go to Canada that summer, and we were picked to win the league the next year. Had some really good players back. And
Yeah.
an all league guy, kind of that 3-4, which kind of what I kind of project him as a freshman playing. And he comes in
Yeah.
my office as we go to Canada. He does some nice things, but didn't really stand out that much. I thought, oh, he's going to be a nice player in our program. He comes to me and says, Coach, I really want a redshirt this year. And we had already had kind of a history of redshirting some guys.
Yeah.
And I kind of saw, okay, yeah, let's do that. So we redshirt him. He chose to do it. Well, he puts on 42 pounds of muscle in his redshirt year. Figured out his dietary stuff, and like working with our nutritionist, working with our strength
Yeah.
coach, falls in love with the weight room. I mean, we'd go to a hotel on the road and he'd be cleaning like 475. I mean, he'd be finding weight,
My
throwing
gosh.
dudes on the edge. Like it was crazy. Like we had to back him off what he was doing. He fell in love with lifting so much. It was crazy. I mean, I just made that number
Yeah.
up, but it was like more weight than you can even imagine. Like
Right.
he was huge into this. And just turned himself, into a dude like that. And he already could jump. And then, we go to Austin P on one of the first road trips of the year next year. And he has a double. And we get back from the trip. And, that's in a different time, that central time zone. We get back at like 4:00 in the morning. I tell my staff sleep in. I'll make sure we had a couple guys with 9:00 classes. I roll through the weight room, walk and go check a couple classes. For that 9:00 class, I walk through the weight room. It's like 8:15, and there's John doing pull-ups, and these guys clean bar next to it, and he's doing supersets of clean, and I'm like, this dude's going to be really good. Had 28 and 12. Get back at 4:00 in the morning. He's already at the gym at 8, and he's
My
cleaning
gosh.
and doing, and just turned into a beast. It was awesome. So cool story. Thank you, Rod. Helped us out there a little bit.
Yeah.
Great player for us, and had some other really good players with him, but
Mhm.
it like could really, really pass the basketball and rebound it. Man, I didn't know you my first 5 years of college, because redshirt first year, I didn't know you had to teach rebounding. Like he just went and got everything.
Yeah.
And that was where like that first time when you saw us beat Indiana, he started at the 4. He was 6'4" and was our backup point guard. And he was guarding what was it, Juwan Morgan, playing in the NBA, really good
Yeah.
player.
Yes.
And so he's playing the 4 and he could rebound with anybody. So it created this huge mismatch. And then I'd put him at the point guard. Like I still got some of my favorite clips. I got Mo Evans in the left corner.
I was just thinking
all-league
that.
point guard, and John's
Yep.
bringing the ball up. Juwan Morgan and Thomas Bryant trying to navigate a ball screen 4 and a 5 minute. Didn't happen a lot. He rejects it.
No.
He's a righty, dunks over the top of him with his left hand. And like, man, it's just like, how do you play positionless basketball and put guys into funky matchups? And that's pretty cool. And John made me look like I could really coach at an early stage. It's cool.
One of my favorite personal Jon Conchar memories that I have, Coach, is you talk about him loving the weight room. So in college I had night classes a lot. So like I would eat like an early dinner and then go to the weight room after. Every time I would go to the weight room, he would be there without fail. If he, obviously if you guys weren't traveling or something like that, he would be there.
He loves it, man.
He was deadlifting, and then like he was done with the set, and he just looks over me and smirks, and I'm like, yeah, he's got it. He's got it. Whatever that is, he's got it. And that's when I
Can't
mean,
teach that
real
work
dude.
ethic. You can't teach
They
that.
loved him. They love him. But the guys at the time, I mean, he was I mean, he was the guy we'd walk out. I still remember that when he played those, whatever it was, 84 minutes. I got a
Yeah.
picture of him. He was carrying the team bag, out of the locker room. He volunteered in the no, I think he probably got paid $6 an hour to do the laundry. So he was doing the
Yeah.
laundry. Here he is, like a year removed from being in the NBA, and he's doing our soccer team's laundry down in the equipment room, and he'd have the dust mop at the volleyball games doing it.
Wow.
Cool dude,
What a
man.
man. Yeah.
Yep.
Shoot.
Yep. Excited, like, and he still, man, he looks out for the Dons.
Yeah.
Every time he's in Indianapolis, like, we'll send some guys down, we'll go see him play, and we send
That's
guys all
awesome.
over the country to go watch him play. But then he'll sign like 100 basketball cards for us and stuff for donors and stuff. It's
That's sweet.
it's cool. Yep, really cool.
Yeah. Shoot. Well, I don't want to take up too much more of your time, Coach, and we really appreciate you coming on and taking time out of your night, obviously, and spending time with us. But one last question that I have for you, Coach, and as a parent and as a father, I have a 10-month-old. How do you manage all the craziness, and your wife being a coach, obviously at the college level as well? How do you manage all that?
Yeah, there's no, I mean, one, marry well.
Yeah.
Like I did that. And she takes care of a lot of the details. Listen, and you gotta figure out your time. Like we had not had a day off since 25th, since Christmas, and we played on Sunday. Monday was off. I gave the staff off, and Trace and I went to the winery down the road for an afternoon and just spend some time. You got to spend that time with that, and then figure out whenever you can, how do you be organized so you can get to the kids' games and do that stuff. Be in the moment. I take my kids to school every day.
That's awesome.
Actually, sad moment. We finally got my son a car. He's 17, and
Oh,
got him a
shoot.
car this year, so I don't get to
Sad
drive
moment.
him. Which is cool because, like, football, they won the state championship at Bishop Dwenger this year.
Yeah.
And all summer long, like, I'm dropping them off at 6 a.m. on in the summer. Man, I could probably go in at 9, and go into the office. Who's at the office at 6:15 in the summer as a basketball coach, when maybe you don't need to, but I was dropping them off football practice. But I miss those moments. But yeah, trying to figure that stuff out. But it's cool, man. I got some great pictures of my kids, like, they sat on the bench, they wore uniforms, they were ball boys, ball girls. They went on the road with us. I think there's great value in my like profession, having kids around your players, seeing what it looks like to be a successful parent. My wife's around everything, too, like a successful husband and things like that. Having them around, like, what I do for a living is a lifestyle. And I think you make it that way, and it allows your players to see what a successful lifestyle, and see, like, hey, hey, coach's wife works, like, he works a lot. Like, man, this is amazing. Like, you can have it all. Like, my wife can work, I can have kids, I can be caring with that. And I've had tremendous mentors for my kids being around my players over the years. And that's really cool. So the last ones, I still remember Chris Morgan's on my roster right now, point guard. And it was on his visit, and Tommy, like, Tracy had already done the math. He was going to be here, Tommy's senior year in high school, before he goes to college. And he told him on his visit, he said, hey, now, this is an important role for you. Like, he's had Pierre Bland, John Conchar, Max Landis. They were all impactful.
Man.
But that was not the last message before he gets kicked out of the house to go to college. Like, you got a big role, and he's good. Those are going to be influential years. You start kind of making serious choices for yourself.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
Chris looked at her like, hey, you crazy lady. Like, I just want to play some hoops, man. You're always telling him how serious this is, taking care of my kids. But it's been awesome. So I don't know what to tell you. Man, there's no perfect decisions. It's hard. Raising kids is hard. And what I'll tell you, man, the hardest thing, like this stuff, wait until social media, and they're, my son's a point guard and a quarterback, and like and kids are brutal on that stuff.
Yeah.
And when your coach's kid, they're even more brutal on that stuff. Like they like to do that. And, and then all of a
Hmm.
sudden they're watching all social media stuff. My daughter, she's 14.
Uh-huh.
My wife got her a flip phone. She's like, we're gonna save you. Our son, he's already lost his brain with this phone. We're gonna get you a flip phone. So she does always start like gets on to Pinterest and finds a way to decorate so it looks cool, right? And
Yeah.
some of her friends are like, oh, that's cool. Well, now it's not cool anymore, right? She's had that for like 3 years. And
Yeah.
she's like, this isn't that cool. But we're like, man, we've saved you some brain cells with that thing, with the flip phone. Now the store to get a flip phone. I don't know if any of you guys are ever inspired. My wife goes to AT&T to go on our package to get a flip phone. Maybe it's Verizon. I don't know. My school phone's from AT&T. So Verizon, I think it's Verizon's with our home one. I don't know. She pays all bills. So anyway, she goes to Verizon and she's like, I want to do a flip phone. I'm like, no, ma'am, you don't want to do that. Like you get this free iPhone 72 for free for $175, right? Or $475, right? Free for $475. Right. So like she's like, no. I'll pay the $475 for that iPhone, but I'm gonna put that in a drawer. I want a flip phone for my daughter. Like, well, we won't set up the flip phone, and you don't want to do it, like trying to sell her. It's like, all right. So she walks out just kind of ticked off. My wife, man, she's aggressive. Like she's like, I'm not taking it. So then this other person comes over to her, like says, hey, I overheard you, who works the store, says, hey, I'm not supposed to tell you this, but go to Walmart. You can get this flip phone for like, $65 and then come back here. We'll set it up for you. Like we'll do it. He's trained to sell. So she goes to Walmart, has the same argument at Walmart. Can't do it.
Oh my God.
Calls like the manager and says, listen, I am buying a phone today. Pays for the iPhone, puts that right, takes the flip phone, goes back, costs us like probably a grand. I don't know what it is. Still had to pay all the stuff for the iPhones, but got the flip phone. It's hard. People won't let you get a flip phone.
No, they don't. So something that we've done in our household real quick is there's a home phone that you connect through your cell phone. So when we get home, we put our cell phones up. Someone needs to reach us and someone calls us on our cell phone, it'll ring the home phone. Somehow my wife found that. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That's been huge for us because as you know, having a podcast and social media and trying to stay, transfer portal and trying to stay relevant about what's going on in the news, I constantly
you're on that. Yeah, that's gonna put some stress on your stuff, man. I figured that one out. That's good. Figure out your plan. Cool.
Yeah, exactly. So that's been our plan. It's been working. So, at night I get on and, see what's going on. But other than that, if I'm not at work, when I come home, put it right there. So, yeah.
So you guys do college. You guys do a ton with college football. I'm a college football fan. Love it. My father-in-law is a Big Ten football referee. My son loves football. Won a state championship. Gonna be quarterback next year. Like he loves it. Like I think that's what he wants to do. Like I love football. So who's your team, Brennan? You can say it. You won't offend me because we didn't have a basketball team at IPFW. Who's your football?
I know. Our football team, mine and David's. David's not here, but I'll speak for him. Our other co-host is Indiana football, and then Jason's and Kenny's is LSU.
Oh, dude, you're such a bandwagon guy. Come on,
not a bandwagon.
You
not
and David
a bandwagon.
Are the only two Indiana football fans. There were
correct, and we have photos of how bad it was to anyone that thinks we were a bandwagon, or we can name older players and things like that. The cool thing in Indiana, John, as you know, was to be a Notre Dame and Indiana basketball fan. So
that is wild. You're right. Yeah. I got a lot of people, and now they're like claiming Indiana football. They're like, I've been in Notre Dame football, but now I'm in Indiana because Indiana basketball. They're all sorts.
Can't do all that.
Hey, but Indiana, man, they've come out of the woodworks.
Yes.
Like the last 3 games, like they've set records for ticket sales.
Wow.
Who would have thought you're going to? There's the Orange Bowl, right? There's the Orange Bowl for the national championships in the Orange Bowl, right?
Yeah, essentially,
yeah. What is it called now?
I think it's Hard Rock Stadium, I think is
okay.
Right?
Yes, the old Orange Bowl, right? And that's where Miami plays at home. And people are like, no, it's going to be a home game for Indiana because so many people like the money that's being spent on tickets and stuff like that. It's cool. We just got an email from the principal at my daughter. She goes to Catholic school. and somehow wrote some like God talk into why
Okay.
they're gonna get delayed school on Tuesday. And
Okay.
and I'm like, I mean, why not just say it? Hey, there gonna be some mom and dads drinking a couple pops watching the Hoosiers
Yes.
play football.
Uh-huh.
And he created all this stuff about, anyway, it was great. I loved it.
That's awesome.
I loved it. So yeah, no,
There's-
I'm rooting for those guys.
I appreciate it,
And
Coach. I
hey, man,
appreciate it.
I also, man, I'm always rooting for, Indiana basketball and Purdue basketball.
Yeah.
Like when they're both really good, like it really makes basketball in our state powerful.
Yes.
And
does.
known. And so, like, man, it's been so cool watching Matt do what he does. And Micah at South Bend is a really good friend of mine too. He's an Indiana guy, played at Hanover College. Like it's great. Like we got some really good basketball coaches.
Yes.
All three of those guys are really, really good guys representing. But man, what Painter's done, it's cool, man.
It's really cool.
He's sort of the gold standard right now.
Yes.
At that level of coaching the right way, and got some boys doing well. Got another Fort Wayne boy doing some good things for him right now too. We like that too.
Sure does. Sure does. He's been finding those Fort Wayne,
Well, he's a Fort Wayne guy.
I know, but
He's a Fort Wayne guy. We like that.
But
Yeah.
But
guys,
no, I agree.
Thanks for having me on. I gotta go watch.
Yes.
I gotta go watch some film. We got Milwaukee coming up this week. They smoked us like a salmon up at their place. They were really good. We're playing pretty good basketball, so hopefully we can change that 1-3 in a row, 2 on the road. Feeling pretty good about our group. But man, Horizon League, too many good coaches. I need to find a league that doesn't have so many good coaches.
That'll be hard.
Best of luck the rest of the season, Coach.
All right, thanks, Jason. Appreciate it. Thanks, Brandon. Appreciate you guys. All right, take care.
See you, Coach.